Good evening and welcome to a Sunday night edition of On the Pen with Man of the Mounjaro. I'm Dave, that Man of the Mounjaro. That's why I'm here. You are on the pen, and that's why you're here. And we are all here to learn a little bit more about our journey with obesity, with type 2 diabetes, with GLP-1s, Liraglutide, semaglutide, dulaglutide, tirzepatide, all the utides, wegovi, Ozempic, Saxenda, Victoza, Trulicity, Mounjaro. If that is you, that is why you're here. I'm Dave, that Man of the Mounjaro. It's good to have you here. We've got joiners here tonight from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and we are just going to talk about tonight questions. We're going to take questions about our journey. So I am not a medical provider. I'm just a guy on the internet, but I have studied this stuff extensively for almost the last year of my life. So we're going to say 3/4 of the last year of my life. I've studied this obsessively, really. Why? Because I'm a type 2 diabetic. I'm a type 2 diabetic who was diagnosed in 2021 with type 2 diabetes, right? And that diagnosis set me off on a year of keto to try to control my blood sugars. And it did well, right? With my insulin levels, or I'm sorry, with my blood sugar. But what it did not do was it did not help me to lose weight. I lost 7 pounds in 1 year. I went from 319 to 312 in 1 year on strict keto. Something was metabolically broken. Obviously, I was type 2 diabetic. In 1 year, my blood sugars were in check, but my insulin levels were still off the charts after 1 year of keto. I lost 7 pounds after 1 year of keto. So my doctor had me looking at things like bariatric surgery, scratching his head, saying, what can we do? But he, thank God, he said, there are these new class of medications. They're called GLP-1s. They act on hormones in your guts. They're called incretin hormones. These incretin hormones are responsible for satiety, for delaying gastric emptying, for helping you feel full in your brain, and for reducing the amount of sugar that your liver makes. And so all of these things are what GLP-1 does, and they're finding that that's what bariatric surgery does for people. So in doing so, I looked at Mounjaro. He gave me a script for Mounjaro, and from that point on, November 8th of 2022, I have been obsessing about learning about these GLP-1 medications. So in doing so, I have created this channel on YouTube, and now we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. We're over on TikTok. We're everywhere. And we are just bringing the community together to talk about our journeys, to ask questions. And so if I can answer your questions, you got to know that I'm not a medical provider, and anything about the treatment that you choose is going to be between you and your doctor, but I can help you to know what questions to ask your doctor, right? And that's what this is all about. So thank you for joining tonight. If you have questions, put them in the chat. If you are liking this stream, if you like what Man on the Mounjaro does, please share this somewhere. Hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub, follow the live creator, do all the things to let everybody know that this is a useful thing for people who are on the pen. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Thank you for those of you who are on YouTube who are members of the channel. Thank you. You make this thing happen. So thank you. You are the special ones in my book because you make this all happen. So thank you for those who are following the live creator. We're going to take questions. So now is the time to start dropping them in the chat. I will keep up with them as I can. But Dama, thank you for being here. It's good to have you here. Thank you for all the people. It's fun to do these on different nights because we get different people coming in. Usually I do Thursday night lives, and Thursday night lives are the main live stream that I do unless I'm on TikTok, because I do a lot of TikTok lives. Karen wants to know, how long have I been on Mounjaro and what dose am I currently on? So I've been on Mounjaro since November 8th of 2022, right? And I titrated up really fast as a type 2 diabetic. My doctor knew that the studies showed that I needed to be on the upper doses. So we moved up pretty quick. The lower doses were scarce. So I was on the 15. I was on the 15 for several months. I was down 30 pounds, but I had to titrate back due to the migraines. And the migraines then went away when I went back to the 5, but the weight started creeping back. The sugar started creeping up. And so now I've titrated back up slowly. I was on 7.5 and then 7.5 for 2 months. And now I'm on my second month of 10. And I'm still at that 30 pounds, but I'm holding there, right? So I've never lost 30 pounds in 6 months. And then a few months later, been able to say I'm still down 30 pounds. So I'm thrilled about that. And that's where I'm at. So hopefully as we continue to titrate back up, things will go really well. And we'll go from there. So thank you. Somebody's asking in the chat about blisters. Blisters on their head from Ozempic. That's the first time I've ever heard of that. Paul is saying, I had a gastric sleeve in 2018. 2 months of Mounjaro has done more for my diabetes and weight than the surgery. Very many people who are joining these live streams who have having some sort of bariatric surgery are really benefiting from the GLP-1s. So what a lot of the doctors that I follow say is if you are super overweight, so we're talking 400 pounds, 500 pounds, 600 pounds, 700 pounds, take the GLP-1 to help you get down to a weight where you can get the surgery, and then the GLP-1s can be really helpful once the surgery starts to wane. You take the GLP-1s and they can help you continue to lose weight. So that's kind of where GLP-1s fit into your journey if you have had bariatric surgery. That is one of the more common ways that I hear from the doctors. Thank you for those who are giving gifts. It is always appreciated but never expected. So thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the gifts over here on TikTok. I appreciate that. That keeps this thing going. They said I couldn't get it any longer because I don't have type 2 diabetes. Yeah. So there are two incretin treatments, GLP-1s, that are approved for weight loss. That's going to be Saxenda, which is Liraglutide. It has a diabetic counterpart called Victoza. Same peptide, Liraglutide, for both of them, right? But one's approved for weight loss, one's for diabetes. The weight loss is Saxenda. And the same goes for semaglutide. You've got Ozempic, and then the weight loss version of it, which is Wegovi. So there are options for you if you are getting kicked off Mounjaro because you're not diabetic. So if you're still above that 27 BMI, there are options. So make sure that you check them out. Talk to your doctor about that. Let's see. What do I recommend for a daily protein goal? That's going to be different for everybody. I think really you got to prioritize protein as a macronutrient because you don't want to lose your muscle mass, which is a concern. Like they've done all these studies with these GLP-1s where people lose all these weight, but what they haven't done is a ton of studies about where that weight is coming from, right? So it is something to be concerned about and to watch as far as your what the weight you're losing. You don't want to be losing lean muscle mass. And one of the ways you can preserve that is to prioritize protein. And some people say when they look at food on a GLP-1, they can't eat. So you have to prioritize protein when you eat. So that's what I would say to that. Somebody has insurance paying 100%. Do I continue metformin? So I was on metformin before I started Mounjaro, and my doctor had me stop it right away. But that's going to be a conversation between you and your doctor, depending on where your blood glucose levels is, because I think one of the big risks would be like low blood sugars, hypoglycemia, right? Because metformin has one mechanism of action, and that is reducing the amount of sugar that's made in your liver, right? But GLP-1s do the same thing. So you have basically two drugs doing the same thing. So that would be the reason to maybe stop taking it, but talk to your doctor about that for sure. My sister's insurance doesn't cover any weight loss meds. What can she do? If she is type 2 diabetic, or if she's not type 2 diabetic, presumably, there are other weight loss medications out there. There are other options. One option would be Qsymia. Qsymia is going to be a combination of Topiramate and Phentermine, and both are very cheap if you take them separately. Now, if you put them together in Qsymia, that is a weight loss medication only, and so it's going to cost weight loss medication prices. But Topamax, which is the generic, and Phentermine, which is a generic, are both like, $5 or $6. And so they could take both, potentially combining them together. So have them talk to their doctor about that. Kelly, welcome to the stream. Terrence, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. Thank you for being here. Natalie, welcome to the stream. Kelly, welcome to the stream. She's on 7.5 and hit a plateau, but the scale is moving down now. Awesome. And I say stick with the dose for as long as it's working for you, right? And when I started this, I wanted to get right up to the max benefit, right? But if I would have been able to slow down a little bit, I would have wanted to stay on the dose that was working for me, right? And I would have camped out there as long as I could have. I am not a healthcare professional. I am not a medical provider. I am not a doctor of any sort. I am just a guy on the internet who is obsessed about learning everything there is to learn about GLP-1s since the day I started one, Mounjaro, November 8th, 2022. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, right? And make sure you do take it with a grain of salt, because one of the things that GLP-1s do is they make you shed sodium, potassium, magnesium. Those are the three big electrolytes. If you're feeling nausea or fatigue on a GLP-1, chances are you are deficient in sodium, magnesium, potassium, because you shed those as you start to lose weight. So one of the ways that you can fight against that is to take a supplement. Now, a lot of the supplements, a lot of the electrolytes, check that. Most electrolyte supplements that are on the market are woefully miserable and lacking in sodium, magnesium, and potassium. So one of the things you can look at is onthepen.com. That's my website, onthepen.com. Check it out. Scroll down until you see Keto Electro Essentials. It's like a little canister, looks like a pre-workout. Click that. Once you click that, that's going to take you to the Keto Essential Electrolytes, and look for yourself. Look at the amount of magnesium, potassium, and sodium. It's going to replace that stuff in spades. And I'm telling you, it really has helped with my nausea and fatigue anytime that I felt that on Mounjaro. And fatigue is especially bad with Mounjaro. I'm just going to say it. Like, 10,000 people follow me between my social media channels. And that's the one thing I hear about Mounjaro. Like, they don't have as much nausea or feeling like they want to puke like they do on semaglutide, which is Ozempic and Wegovy, but they feel so much fatigue. And I got to say, the fatigue is a mass shed of electrolytes, in my humble opinion. And that's what sets me straight. If you can find a supplement that has more magnesium and more potassium and more sodium together in one mix that's just easy to drink, please let me know. But the best thing I have found is Keto Essential Electrolytes. You're going to find that at onthepen.com. Scroll down under Dave's Amazon faves. It's the first thing that I list because it's the one thing that people talk about. LMNT is good. LMNT tastes way better than Keto Essential Electrolytes. Like, it's not even close. When you taste Keto Essential Electrolytes, you're going to be, it's like drinking table salt. So it's not good tasting, but it fixes that fatigue for me, right? So check it out. It's something to check out, right? Somebody said a short nap sometimes helps with fatigue. That's also a free thing that you can do. Not everybody has that benefit, obviously, in the middle of the day. Some people are at work, and some employers frown upon napping in the middle of the day, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm on Marketplace and Better Insurance, and now that the coupon is finished, my insurance won't cover any GLP-1. Anyone know how to get this covered? I'm 40 pounds down, but need 50 pounds to go. Ashley, I can really identify with that struggle. That must be very, very frustrating for you. I've got to say that is hard. That is hard. There's a couple things you can look at that jump out to me on the top of my head. First of all, it is like, no matter if you find a solution this second or not, there will be a generic version of Liraglutide, which is Saxenda and Victoza. There should be, in the next 6 to 8 months, there should be there's like 7 or 8 manufacturers lined up to make a generic version of that, which should help your situation. But for now, there are other weight loss medications. We kind of covered it. Qsymia is the one that I can think of the most. It is phentermine with Topamax. People tend to do really well on that. It's not a GLP-1. But it might tide you over until you get that either a weight loss added to your coverage, or until you get the generic version of Liraglutide. That's something that I can say. How's your journey been? Anyone at plateau or weight gain recently? I think there are plenty of Cutie Pie. First of all, Cutie Pie, it's good to have you back in the stream. We've missed having you here. I've been plateaued, but I kind of went through earlier why it's kind of a little bit different for me, because I titrated back to the 5 milligram. See, the dude was drinking Propel on his trip for the first time, and he could tell his body needed it. That's awesome. And Propel's really cheap, obviously. And you can buy that in the packets too, and just mix it with a bottle of water. Can I take 2.5 and 5 together to get my 7.5 dose? Has anyone ever done it? Julie, I did that for 2 months. Just a couple of months ago. I was on the 5. I titrated up to the 7.5. They didn't have it, so I mixed 5 and 2.5 for 2 months. It did okay for me, but you got to know that before that I was at the 15, and I had titrated back because of migraines, and then I was moving up. So I mean, the 7.5 for me was mixing the 2.5 and the 5. I got to say those 2 months for me were meh, but I maintained my weight loss. So at least I did that. Vyvanse is good for binge eating. It says that's like the next generation of Adderall. So you're looking at a stimulant medication, correct? If I'm correct, is there still a shortage on MJ 15 milligram? No, there's not technically with the FDA. The shortages that exist right now are with the 10 and the 7.5, and those have been extended out until the end of September, but they're intermittent outages. So it doesn't mean you're not going to be able to get it. And I've done a lot of videos on how the supply chain works. So check out my videos. Another plug for my YouTube channel and my TikTok. Make sure you follow the live creator here on TikTok. Make sure that you subscribe, hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub if you're over on YouTube. Hey, Cheryl, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. You're welcome, Ashley, for the answer. Kelly said, I'm thankful to report no weight gain, but did hit a plateau. Started on semaglutide and compounded their tirzepatide compounded. Then just got MJ covered by insurance, so now actual MJ from a pharmacy. So welcome back to the moon, Kelly. That's awesome. Congratulations. Do you give your shot in the same place? No, I don't. You got to switch it up, right? They say to switch it up. Even if you want to do the thigh every time, alternate thighs every week. I started off on the 5 milligram, lost 15, then went to 7.5 and didn't lose anything that month. So Tony, one of the things that I'm starting to believe based on my anecdotal experience with people here is that everybody has a sweet spot with these GLP-1s. And I was watching a doctor explain why more GLP-1 does not equal better, right? And I've always thought that, like, obviously the more the peptide you get, the more response that your body's going to get. Well, not exactly, because your gut only has so many receptors, and that's what these drugs are. They're receptor agonists. So they're gonna antagonize the receptors that exist in your gut to basically make a naturally occurring hormone, which is GLP-1, which is an incretin hormone, And in Mounjaro's case, it's going to be GLP-1 and GIP, right? So 2 hormones responsible for making you feel full in your brain, delaying gastric emptying, and encouraging your pancreas to make more insulin when you need it. Also reducing the amount of sugar that your liver makes, which ultimately brings your baseline insulin down. All good things for weight loss. Good to have you back, cutie pie. And so I'm starting to believe that based upon the amount of receptors that are in people's bodies, there's a sweet spot dose for people, because otherwise, if you only have a certain amount of receptors, let's say the 7.5 is working really well for you, or in your case, the 5 was working really well for you. Once you add the 7.5, if it's too much for how many receptors you have, there's like a 5-car pileup on the highway to that receptor, right? And so more is necessarily not doing you any good. Conversely, what he had said was that when you pull back on, like when you remove the GLP-1 dose, your body all of a sudden can't find what was once antagonizing it to make more of that hormone, so it makes more receptors to go out and look for this GLP-1. Very fascinating video. I need to go back, find it, and link it in the description, because it was one of the more fascinating videos I've ever seen about GLP-1s. But yeah, so it could be that 5 is a sweet spot for you. You may want to look at titrating back to the 5, to be totally honest with you, based upon what I heard from this doctor, right? And this is just one guy relaying a message, so it's, telephone game applies, right? I'm just a guy on YouTube. Take everything I'd say with a grain of salt. Dustin says, thank you for being a male and talking about these. I'm at Mounjaro 5 plateau, but am optimistic. Yeah. And once you plateau, so people always ask, when should I titrate up? Like, when should I move up to the next dose? And what I always say is the best time to move up to the next dose is A, when your doctor approves it and you talk to your doctor about it. But B, when you talk. So the question really for me is, when should I talk to my doctor about upping my dose? And what I always tell people is, when you plateaued and you're on a lower dose of a GLP-1 and you plateaued for 6-8 weeks, it may be time to talk to your doctor about the potential of titrating up to another dose. So what drank 16 ounces of chocolate milk this morning and almost threw up? 5 is too little, but on 7.5. Interesting. Yeah. So it's kind of like you need something in between there. Yeah, I mean, I think once you titrate up, so what, one of the things that I will say is that the first week is always the worst for people, tends to be the worst for people when they dose up. And so hopefully that second week, it starts to even out for you. Anne said, I've lost at a rate of about 2.2 per week on 5 milligrams, started weight training, and recently the scale went up. Yeah, that sometimes it do be like that. Some people say, yeah, well, that's because you're putting on muscle. Well, if it's just been a couple weeks, probably not putting on a significant amount of muscle where you're gaining pounds of muscle, but your water retention is going to change and all that. And so on a daily basis, the scale's just going to go nuts because you're doing something new with your body. So just, be patient with your body. I think the weight training is really good to do on GLP-1s because, as we talked about earlier, one of the things that you've got to be concerned about is preserving muscle mass, because we don't necessarily know, and it's going to be different for everybody, where that weight is coming off from. Some of it will certainly be, because when you lose weight on anything, even without any help, some of that weight is certainly going to be lean muscle mass. So you want to preserve that. You're going to do that by prioritizing protein when you eat, and you're going to do that by some resistance training as well. Kelly said their doctor wrote a prescription, but my insurance will not approve. That is kind of the story of people's life right now with these medications. If you don't have type 2 diabetes, you want to go for a drug that's approved for obesity, which is going to be, in this incretin class of medicines, is going to be Wegovy and Saxenda, and coming soon to a pharmacy near you, the weight loss version of Mounjaro, which should be online within the next couple of months. So now's the time to be talking. Hey, Creamy Jalapenos over on the Teka Talka. Welcome. Low blood sugar on 3rd week. Yeah. Interesting. So are you type 2 diabetic? That's going to be my first question for you, MJ Chafin. Anybody over on YouTube have any questions with checking in the chat there? Thank you for being here. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button and share it somewhere where somebody's going to also benefit from this. If you're on or Twitter, make sure you share this stream. If you're on Facebook, share this into one of the Mounjaro groups. People need to hear this information. People have so many questions and they don't know where to turn. That's what I want to be for people, to help them know how to navigate questions with their doctor. That's why I'm here, to help you navigate conversations with your doctor. I'm not a medical provider. I'm just a guy on the internet, but I know enough about this to help you know what questions to ask your doctor. Which would you choose, Wegovy or Saxenda? So semaglutide or Liraglutide, those are the utides that are behind Wegovy and Saxenda. Semaglutide is going to be superior to Saxenda. Saxenda is one of the oldest utides. It's Liraglutide, and it's been around for 10 years, and it's already generics are coming next year for it. That doesn't mean it's not a good one. It just means it's not the newest, so it's not as advanced as semaglutide, which is Wegovy. So I would say if you have the choice between the two, Wegovy 100% all day long. But the best peptide that you can be on for weight loss, as far as the GLP-1 polypeptide, is going to be the one that you can get. right? But Wegovy definitely edges out Saxenda in the clinical trials for weight loss. Cutie Pie was on vacation in California in July, did plateau in July, but started to lose again. Awesome. Guess too many In-N-Out burgers over the summer. And sometimes it do be like that. Sue, thanks for being in the stream. Sue's a moderator. Sue's one of my favorite Mounjarians. So thank you for being here, buddy, and helping get questions answered and moving through the chat. Over on TikTok, somebody asked, is MJ superior to Wegovy? In the clinical trials, it is. The reason is because these are all GLP-1s are incretin under the incretin mimetics class. What are incretin hormones? Real quick flyover. Incretin hormones are hormones that are in your gut. They're made in your gut, right? And if you are obese or metabolically sick or type 2 diabetic, a lot of times those hormones are dysregulated. So what these incretin hormones do is they're responsible for delaying gastric emptying. They're responsible for feeling full in the brain. They're responsible for reducing the amount of sugar that your liver makes, and they stimulate your pancreas to make more insulin when you need it, but not when you don't. So it's like insulin on demand, right? So the most prominent incretin hormone is GLP-1, and that's what all these medications are. But what makes Mounjaro superior to semaglutide, which would be Wegovy, is that it also acts on GIP. So it acts on 2 incretin hormones instead of 1. And so in the clinical trials, people A, tended to lose a little bit more weight on it, and B, they tended to also have fewer side effects since it was acting on 2 and not just intensely on 1, if that makes sense. If you are finding this information helpful, please let me know with a super chat, with a like, with a comment, with a subscribe, with a follow the live creator. I would greatly appreciate that. That encourages me in the content that I make. Thank you for being here and for being the best part of what I do. Yeah, so if you have other questions, thank you for the gifts. Always appreciate it. I appreciate that over on TikTok, Diana Doll. I appreciate the roses. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being the best part of what I do on the pen, right? Enrique, what do you got? What do you know about Miami B12 semaglutide? So that's compound semaglutide. So compounded semaglutide is going to be coming from a compound pharmacy. If you can't get Wegovy or Ozempic, chances are your doctor wrote a prescription for a compound, which is basically a special pharmacy that can make take the active ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy or Mounjaro, which is tirzepatide, and they mix it with another medication. In that case, it would be B12, right? So people do really great on those. Just make sure it's coming from a reputable compound pharmacy and requires a prescription. You should be good to go, right? Just make sure you talk to your doctor about it. And you should, because they should be the ones writing the script. Cutie Pie, thank you for the $10 super sticker on YouTube. You rock. Thank you for that. I really appreciate the gifts. They help me to continue to do this. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Dink Donk is in the house. Welcome. Carlos Crafty is in the house. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the using the custom emojis over on the tube. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate y'all. Any other questions tonight? Still taking questions on the really all the utides, semaglutide, dulaglutide, tirzepatide. All the utides, that's Saxenda, Wegovy, Victoza, Ozempic, Mounjaro, Trulicity. Those are the medications that I've studied religiously. And if you have questions about your journey, I'm not a medical provider, but I can help you navigate conversations with your doctor. And if you have side effects, I probably have too, or chances are between the 10,000 people that follow me, they have too. And we've talked about it, and other people have answered. And I just try to log that information away and share it here with you. I heard the vial is better because they have it in B12. I want to get some B12 to help me with MJ pen. So B12, if you're deficient in it, can help you with the fatigue part of it. It can help you with the fart of it too, I heard. But the part of it that brings fatigue, the B12 kind of is designed to offset that. So yeah, that is what the compound version is. Although Mounjaro, brand name Mounjaro, will be available soon in vials as well, not compounded, but just straight tirzepatide in vials. That's what they're doing to help with the supply chain. If you follow my channel, you've already seen the videos on that, so you already knew that. So kudos for you who already know, because you follow Man on the Mounjaro. Your fear: can I take Mounjaro once every 2 weeks since you pay full price? Many people do. Like, talk to your doctor about it. Make sure that that's kosher with your doctor, and make the plan with your doctor. But I know many people who do, including Fat Guy No More, who was on the pen, who's been on my show On the Pen Live, which is a Thursday night live stream that I do on YouTube exclusively. So you got to get over, click the link in my bio. That'll take you to my YouTube. Subscribe there. It's Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central. If you enjoy On the Pen Live, let me know in the chat. It is a weekly show done in the vein of like the Daily Show. If the Daily Show was all about GLP-1s, if it was about type 2 diabetes, if it was about obesity, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Saxenda, Wegovi, all the news, and then we have a lot of fun when we do it. So make sure that you check out my YouTube page by clicking the link in my bio and following that. If you're already over here on YouTube and watching, just make sure you subscribe and hit that bell, and that'll make sure that you get the updates for that. Kelly did it once. Kelly, I did it once. Yes, I did do it once. Taking a pen apart to make doses. Yeah. Yeah, that is not something that I would recommend, but it is something that can be done. And other people have done for sure. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. That's the main thing that I got to say about that is make sure that you talk to your doctor about anything that you do like that before you do it. When do the vials come out? Will the price be the same? So the first part of your question is when do they come out? I think they're going to come out end of the year-ish. It's already been approved by the FDA. So I did some videos on that. You might want to check those out. But the price I'm imagining will be somewhat cheaper, but I don't think dramatically. That's my estimation on that. Eli Lilly's profits weigh far too heavily on the success of Mounjaro for it to be too cheap, right? Anne said a pharmacist told her that Ozempic in higher doses will be in short supply until December, January. Absolutely, that is true. 100%. Yeah, semaglutide, anything that comes from Novo Nordisk is a wreck. Dinks on a 7-month stall, and the scale has finally dropped in numbers. What dose are you on? First of all, congratulations, Dink. That is awesome. Hey, we're over 10,000 likes over here on TikTok. So thank you. Did somebody say they can get MJ over the counter in Mexico? No, but I'm pretty sure you can get Ozempic. Betty was approved for the Ozempic Patients Assistant Program. So Novo Nordisk does have some nice patient assistance programs. If you want to check those out, they're going to be income-based. Creamy Jalapeno, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining over on TikTok tonight. Thank you for those who are thanking me. That's always nice to have your work recognized, right? I really, really, really appreciate that. I'm going there in November. Yeah, I've heard anecdotally about people getting semaglutide over there, whether it's Rybelsus or Ozempic over the counter. Yeah, so Tijuana. Suzanne's about to start Saxenda. I don't have a strong stomach. Should I ask him for a script of Zofran or other anti-emetic? Zofran is a big one that a lot of people take, but I've heard anecdotally that Zofran can cause gastroparalysis. So you got two things kind of working against you. Dave, have you heard if higher doses of Ozempic is in short supply? Higher doses of Wegovy are. That is what I've heard. I haven't looked lately at Ozempic, but like I said, everything from Novo Nordisk is a wreck. So if the higher doses of Wegovy are in short supply, chances are even if it's not official that the ones in Ozempic are, they probably try to they're trying again an emphasis on the diabetic medications and keeping them. But I don't know that for sure. I'm on 10 milligrams, but plan on asking for 12.5 tomorrow. Yeah, Corey, stay on the dose as long as it helps you lose weight. Once it stops helping you lose weight, then I talk to your doctor about it. Unless you're a diabetic, then it's a whole nother thing about your blood sugars and all that. And said, second question, please, my insurance requires we get our prescriptions filled for 3 months at a time. I was wondering if that's a problem when getting these meds. Not typically. As long as it's on your formulary, as long as you have coverage. I've had 3-month doses filled several times with no problems. Do you think ultimately we'll regret taking Mounjaro if we start to gain again after a couple of years? Some studies of Ozempic show that participants started to gain weight, I think is what you're going to say. Actually, they've shown that in both studies for Mounjaro, those studies just came out a couple weeks ago, and it's been shown in semaglutide. It is likely a lifelong medication, but you got to think about it this way, Lisa, is that obesity, we have to start looking at it as a chronic illness, just like we look at diabetes, right? It's something you have likely for your whole life and will likely need help with the rest of your life. So small maintenance doses of these medications are likely going to be required for people to maintain this weight loss because, again, we've talked about how these work on our metabolic system. Thank you for joining tonight. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate those who have given gifts tonight. That is always appreciated, never expected. Thank you for those who have given gifts over on YouTube as well. Jennifer's, yeah, okay. Yeah, do everything at your own discretion and talk to your doctor about it, especially as it relates to that kind of stuff, Jennifer. I'm a type 2 diabetic. I need help having regular bowel movements. Yeah, so Corey, one of the things that you can do is you can check out my website, onthepen.com. I have a thing that says shop. And in there, it's just like all the things you need for a GLP-1 journey, right? And 2 of those things are going to be Ducalax and Miralax. Those will really help. Magnesium citrate is another thing you want to look at. Those things tend to help people get things moving, if you know what I mean. So YouTube asked because he wanted to know if you had a bad reaction to Mounjaro or Ozempic, excuse me, but don't know the side effects of Saxenda. The side effects of Saxenda are going to be very similar to those of Ozempic and Mounjaro. All GLP-1s kind of have the same side effect profiles and the same warnings on them. But I think the newer ones are maybe a little bit, they've taken the edge off a little bit of some of those. Mostly if you're going to feel side effects, it's going to be as you dose up. Anybody else have any luck with Fiber Gummies? Yeah, I've heard plenty of people taking Fiber Gummies. Thank you for those of you who are giving gifts over here on TikTok. I'm trying to keep up with all the streams here. I appreciate that. What dose am I on? And am I still losing? I'm titrating back up from the 5 after being on the 15 for a couple of months because of migraines. And the 10 milligram is helping me to lose weight again, I think. How do you get it if your SR won't, I imagine you're saying prescribe. If your doctor won't prescribe, you don't. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. You got to find one that does. Rebecca, the best advice I can give you is if your doctor is averse to GLP-1s, there's find out what their reason for is. But if that reason is not sufficient for you, you might want to just find a telehealth provider. Telehealth providers and NPs, nurse practitioners, tend to know more about these because it's a hyper focus of theirs right now because there's so much demand for them. And they just know more about these than GPs. You think about a general practitioner, they got to know a little bit about everything. Right. But a lot of these nurse practitioners who are, the backbone of healthcare in the United States right now, they know more about these medications because they just simply have more patients on them. Anyone experience sulfur bursts? Yeah. One of the things you can do is Papaya enzymes. Go to onthepen.com, click shop. It'll take you to my Amazon shop with all my GLP-1 must-haves. One of those is Papaya enzymes. People swear by those. Docs chose Saxenda because you're not diabetic and Wegovi is on shortage. That's probably smart of your doctor. Saxenda is a great medication. I've heard people losing 100 pounds on it. So don't be afraid about starting Saxenda. It's just a daily shot, which some people don't like. I would like a daily shot. I don't think I'd mind that. Don't know how you guys taking 12 milligrams. I'm on 2.5 for almost 3 months and it works. Yeah, your fear. I hear that a lot. Body chills after injection, 100%. One of the first videos I ever did on YouTube about my Mounjaro journey was turning the heat up at work and wearing my coat at my desk. And I'm a big, fat, hefty guy, and I never get cold. But I was freezing when I first started Mounjaro. Another random thing that I dealt with was I dealt with I dealt with the chills, and then I dealt with like a flu-like symptoms, like achy bones. For a couple of months, I felt, like I was about to get the flu, but never did. Somebody over here asked a great question. Thank you. Have you heard about the lawsuits with stomachs and being paralyzed? Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't pay a lot of mind to them. Again, talk to your doctor about it. But they seem like very frivolous lawsuits. One of the main mechanisms of action, not even side effects, but one of the main mechanisms of actions of a GLP-1 is to slow down how fast the food moves through your system, right? To help you feel fuller for longer. That's what GLP-1 does, a naturally occurring hormone. Some of these people are saying that once they stopped, that problem persisted. And now these two people out of the millions on these medications over the last 20 years are suing. These are just frivolous lawsuits, in my humble opinion. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a guy on YouTube, but I'm certainly entitled to my opinion. And my opinion about those lawsuits is they're bullcrap. And that's that. Rebecca, an endocrinologist would be helpful for prescribing. Yeah, endocrinologists tend to really understand hormones, and that's what these are. They're hormone therapies. They're medicines that encourage your body to make more hormones. Hot flashes are appreciated. Matthew says, "Hey, I'm big boned. I am big boned, but I'm also fat." Dink, it's good to have you here again. Glad you're joining. Thank you, Karen. I go outside. It's 104 to warm up. Yeah, that'll do it. Do I live up again? Thank you for those who have followed the live creator on TikTok. Let's work to get to 20,000 likes. Thank you for those who have given gifts. That's always appreciated, never expected. Thank you on YouTube for those who have given gifts. If you're new here on YouTube, put an N in the chat. Let me know you're new here. I think I recognize everybody that's been here so far. Your fear, you look new. Just make sure you hit subscribe before you leave and hit that bell so you can get notifications. Really, really, really appreciate it. I'm going to wrap it up here shortly. It's always hard to wrap it up here when we got like 100 people on the live. Between all the things, we got about 150 people watching. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Becca's new and she's on 7.5 Mounjaro. Deborah's new. Dustin's new. Do I have a HIT plan? hip pain. I've heard about people having that. I had bone pain when I first started for about the first 2 months, but it was more like when you get the flu. Ebar just took the first 1 milligram of Ozempic. Did you start at 1 milligram? I hope you're titrating up and not starting at 1 milligram. If you're starting 1 milligram, you might want to buckle up, make sure you prioritize protein, take some sort of electrolyte supplement, and maybe even ask your doctor to have some zofran on hand to back that thing up. Because if you're starting on 1 milligram, that's high. Okay, you're titrating up. Good. That's good to know. Thank you for that context. Suzanne, I would ask, try Ozempic as soon as available as an option for you. My personal opinion. What did Suzanne say? Suzanne said, I don't think insurance will cover Mounjaro not on formulary. Yeah. If you're not diabetic, but if you have a BMI over 27, Wegovi and Saxenda, those are 2 GLP-1 medications that are approved for weight loss. So thank you. Marianne's new and on Facebook. Marianne, share this somewhere. Share this into one of your Mounjaro groups if you joined a Mounjaro group. And let's get more people on Facebook in here. But thank you for being here. You're staying on 7.5 made you feel too sick. See, yeah, great. It's so funny how these medications all treat different people differently, right? But I'm glad that the 5 is working for you because you got a lot of room to climb when that 5 stops working for you. So thank you, for being here, Marianne. It's always good to hear from people on Facebook, and make sure you share this somewhere. What's everyone's weight loss so far? Yeah, that's a great question. Becca's lost 50 pounds. Stephanie, 15 pounds Diana Doss is 15 pounds since June 14th. That's awesome progress. 92 pounds for Claudia. BMI went from 42 to 24. So you flipped that script, didn't you? That's awesome. PMAC, welcome to the stream on a TikTok. Thank you for sharing, Marianne. I really, really appreciate it. It's very sweet of you. Dink Donk, I love the 7.5. Made me feel crazy. I'm glad. See, I love to hear the smaller doses working for people. And I think people who are not diabetic and insulin resistant, they respond really well to those lower doses. Kelly's down 30 pounds. Amazing. Congratulations. Dink, you're down 72 pounds. Wow. I didn't realize you were down that much. Congratulations. Joseph's down 42 pounds. Joseph, thank you for being in the stream. Joseph, thank you for being new here. I don't think I recognize your name from before, so thank you for being new to the chat. Stephanie's down 72 pounds since April. That's amazing. Great job, everyone. Absolutely. Deb is down 75 pounds. Dude, people are getting their life back, right? That's what these medications are about. That's why I can get jazzed about doing these lives all the time. Like I'm doing more and more of these live streams where we're just taking questions, and I've decided to share that over to Facebook because honestly, there's nothing I like to do more than just getting all of the communities together. Let's talk about our journeys. Let's ask the questions. Let's know that I'm not a medical provider. Let's know that I'm not giving medical advice, but I am sharing my experience and sharing what everybody shared with me so that you know how to navigate those questions with your doctor. Jennifer from Nebraska is down 53 pounds. Sue the Dude's down 75 pounds. Jen's down 32 pounds. Cutie Pie's down 92 pounds, and she's back in the stream, so thank you for being here. Dink is getting her life back, but now she's a sack of skin. Yeah, that is a problem that you, I don't know, what do you say, 72 pounds ago, Dink, you would have been wanting that problem, probably hoping that you didn't have it, but gladly would trade it for where you were. So congratulations, Dink, on that success. That is amazing. Thank you all for sharing. And thank you for whoever set this firestorm off of sharing what we've done. I'm Dave Knapp, man on the Mounjaro. That's why I'm here. I have lost 30 pounds since November of last year, but that was after a full year of doing everything I could to lose weight and not, right? And so I'm just so thankful to be here. I'm so thankful to be in the community. Deborah wants to know what a compound is. A compound medication is when you take the active ingredient of any medication and you mix it with another medication. Special pharmacies make them. They're called compound pharmacies. The ones that make the medications we're talking about are called sterile compound pharmacies, and they take the active ingredients of Ozempic or Wegovy, which is semaglutide, or Mounjaro, which is tirzepatide, and they mix it with like a B vitamin, like a B12, and they give it to you in a vial, and you pull it into an insulin syringe and give it to yourself, and that is called a compound medication. And in shortages like we're having now, doctors really rely on that to get people the medications that they need. So that's what that's all about. We got 10% battery left on the iPad TikTok, so we're not long for this world here. But thank you for following. If you're new to TikTok, follow the live creator. We're almost at 20,000 likes here. My favorite daily snack or food item for everyone. Yeah, animal protein, meat sticks, cheese, Those are my favorite. As a type 2 diabetic, I try to avoid anything that's carby. Dink says, great job, everyone. This is one of the best communities. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for being here, Dink. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's one of the best communities. I love getting on here. I love sharing. I love bringing everybody together. That's what On the Pen with Man and Mounjaro is all about. So make sure that you follow me. Wherever you're watching me from, make sure that you follow me. And then my big ask of you tonight is to just make sure that you share this somewhere, because this is growing. It's growing fast, and it's growing because you all come here, you share, you're open about your journey. We're On the Pen, right? And so I have shirts that I've made. If you're on YouTube, you can probably see those by going to my page and looking at my store. You can go to onthepen.com and click merch. But I make shirts that say On the Pen, because that's what we are. We're on the pen. And we should be proud about that. We should be proud about the fact that we're advocating for ourselves, that we're flipping the script. And, obesity especially is a condition that needs to be treated. Hey, we hit 20,000 likes on TikTok. Thank you very much for the 20,000 likes on the stream. Really, really, really appreciate that. But, we should be proud of the fact that we're addressing the metabolic side of things, because everything has always been behavior, making us who deal with diabetes or type 2 diabetes or obesity, more specifically, making those of us who deal with obesity feel like we're failures. We're not moving enough. You're eating too much and you're not moving enough. Well, the fact of the matter is we're biologically broken. And that's what science has shown. Science has shown that the people who are metabolically broken, that are obese, have dysregulated gut hormones, and that our gut hormones are responsible for all the issues that we have, a lot of the issues that we have. Obviously, there's mental and spiritual side of these things too that need to be addressed, but we've been addressing those, and we've understood that for a long, long time. We haven't understood the broken biology part of it, and that is what these medications are helping to address. Lucky Lady, thank you for the corn. Thank you for getting corny with an Iowa boy. That's why the corn is the gift of choice over on the TikTok. So thank you for giving the corn over there. Thank you for those who have given super chats on YouTube. If you've enjoyed this stream, I really appreciate that. Like this, share this with somebody. And we're at 20,000 likes, over 20,000 likes on TikTok tonight. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for those who have given gifts. But yeah. We're fixing what's metabolically broken. We are On the Pen. You are On the Pen. Make sure that you join us for On the Pen Live, which is going to be this Thursday night. We're going to have a great guest on this Thursday night, and I'm excited to bring that great guest to you, just as I am every week. The great thing about On the Pen Live is you can watch all of them on demand. You want to watch last week's episode with Kim from the Plus Sides podcast. Make sure you check out the Plus Sides podcast. You can also check out the episode that I did with Bourbon RX, with Triplet Data TikTok, with Janine, the Mounjaro Flight Attendant. If you're over on YouTube, with BJ Davis, Fat Guy No More, Pug on Mounjaro. Those are some of the recent ones that I've done. And so we have all of my favorite people from the community come on, and we just chat, whether we're nerding out about the marketing and the go-to-market strategy of Eli Lilly and Mounjaro, or whether we're talking about our journeys in, like Pug on Mounjaro, who's down almost 200 pounds, Triplet Dad, who's down almost 200 pounds on these treatments. Like, we just share our journey. And so On the Pen Live, it happens exclusively on YouTube. Click the link in the description of my video. That's going to take you to my YouTube, and hit subscribe. That's the number one gift that you could give me, is a subscribe on my YouTube. And join us for On the Pen on Thursday nights, because you're not going to want to miss it. If you have enjoyed On the Pen Live before, let me know in the chat before we head out. But until next time, until probably Thursday night, will probably be the next time that I do a live like this that's streaming everywhere except for TikTok. If you're on TikTok, you're not going to get On the Pen Live. You got to go to YouTube. Link in the bio. Follow. Thank you for being here tonight. You're the best part of this channel. You're the best part of what I do. You're why I do what I do. I hope that you enjoy the work that I do. Thank you for those on YouTube who have acknowledged the work that I do and have become members of the channel. The members of the channel are the backbone of what I do. I would not be able to do this, would not be able to justify the time that I spend to know all this stuff, to share all this stuff, without those who have become members. If you become a member, you get access to these custom emojis that you see in the chat, and that is what helps keep me going. So thank you for those who have become members. The link's in the description of this video to become a member. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for those who are here who are members. AO, thank you. Sue, Cheryl, thank you for being here. The rest of the members that are in the chat, Dink Donk, who else? Cutie Pie, so glad to have you back. Cheryl, thank you. Joseph, thank you. Matthew, thank you. The rest of you, who too many to name, thank you for being here. If you want to become a member, tonight's the night to do it. That helps to support what I do. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being the best part of what I do. And y'all have a great night. Bye.